Hey, everyone, Joe Waxman here, the mediocre astrologer. Man, he's okay. What's up, everyone? Happy New Year. It's the first day of 2024, January 1st, New Year's Day. So hope you had a great New Year's and hope you're having a great day today. So I want to look at the astrological year in review. So uh, without further ado, let's get right into it. Um, Okay. Right now, Jupiter's stationary, by the way, and so is Mercury. You can see that, SS. So it's a powerful day today. And actually, this signifies if the new year, and let me just say this, some people are like, oh, it's not the new year. The new year is when, whatever, people have different times. But there is a psychic phenomenon where a lot of people believe something, it has influence, whether you think it's just psychological or there's more to it. I think there's more to it than that. But because we say this is the new year, there's a psychic imprint that from the world over that kind of sticks. And that's also partially the way astrology works, not fully, but that phenomenon is there. When a lot of people believe something, it's magic. Magic is happening. Magic is it's creating something in the etheric realms, in the spiritual realms, right? And so because we're all saying it's New Year, well, it's New Year, right? So it's New Year. It's a very powerful thing. And whenever something is started, that's very powerful, right? Like the time when we're born, when we actually exit the womb, right? That's a very powerful time. So we're starting on a very powerful um day because we have two planets stationary. And whenever a planet is stationary, it's balanced. It's not moving forward, it's not moving backward, it's staying still. So it's very potent, right? It's really strong and powerful. Jupiter in Taurus and Mercury in Sag. Now, Mercury in Sag is not in an ideal sign, but it's very unique when a planet is stationary and it's not in great dignity because then it has a very unique perspective. It's getting it's pulling from its poor dignity, but in a very balanced way. So there's something very magical about that. It's sort of like taking poison and making medicine, right? From it. It's a dynamic twist. Just one example of that I can remember is Tony Robinson has a practically stationary Mercury in Pisces, right? And he's brilliant in his own unique way, right? He's not a scientist. He's not intellectual, although he is very intellectual, but he's more like he's very powerful psychological inspirational kind of character in any case, and very compassionate, deeply compassionate. But Jupiter is in Taurus, and that's also stationary. So actually, right now would be um, barring other things, it would be a great time for investments. Jupiter in Taurus, stationary alone, because Jupiter being very expansive and Taurus being very material, finance, food, security, gathering wealth. So investments would be good because of that balance. So it's like think stationary like good judgment, right? Because you're not leaning this way, you're considering both sides, and so you can make a really good solid decision. Jupiter wants to expand and bring excess. And wants to gather materialism, especially in Taurus, right? Um, and Mercury stationary in Sag, probably great for, the philosophical mindset, right? Taking the intellect and extending it into Sagittarian, Jupiterian kind of fields, right? So philosophy, religion, higher mindedness, big thinking, graduate studies, adventure, law, justice, things like that. All right. So I'm not gonna, I want to go through the whole year, so I have to sort of move through this quickly. Right now, Saturn is square Venus, Saturn in Pisces, and Venus in Sag. Venus exalts in Pisces, so I mean that's good. But Saturn in Pisces, as I've said before, is sort of like the militant compassionistas, right? The pink and purple hairs marching, being like, trying to, be the authority, taking over the train station, taking over this building, that building, like these compassionistas, the Piscean types, the purple hairs and the blue hairs and the wokesters, right? They think they're doing. I don't, they probably mean well. A lot of them, they don't all mean well, but some of them mean well. I mean, I know that because they shout, very racist, anti-Semitic things a lot of times, and they do call for violence as well. But regardless of that, this Piscean, that whole influence, the wokesters, that's very Piscean, right? And we have Neptune and Pisces to back that up. But Saturn, they got their sort of militant compassionista thing going on, and it's at odds with Venus in Sag. So there's a bit of a square to the joyfulness, right? And so like they ruined Christmas, they're ruining New Year's, they're taking it over. They're like free Palestine, right? And they also carry banners that say by any means necessary, which is the complete opposite, which is basically in support of terrorism, right? Justification. So that it's like on the one hand, they want Israel to not defend itself, but they want Hamas to keep killing as many Jews as they want and raping, right? So it's insanity, which is par for the course for Pisces. Low of all Pisces is pretty insane in any case. So yeah, they're thieves of joy, but because Venus exalts in Pisces, there's still good times to be had, right? There's a square here, but we can still have a good time. Venus is connecting to Pisces through Saturn, despite the militant wokesters, right? We do have North Node in Aries, conjunct Chiron, and I feel like this is like sort of like let your freak flag fly, right? It's sort of like asking us to embrace our uniqueness, embrace our own individuality, embrace especially within Aries, because Aries is so about the individual, it's so about the self, the identity, right? And Chiron is all about the being different, being a reject, being wounded, right? Being wounded because you're a reject, right? And if we embrace that, we can heal it, So that's calling we're calling for the embracement of the individual, of your individual uniqueness, the thing that sets you apart, the thing that some people might not like, some people might make fun of you for it, right? Whatever that is. Or maybe it's just perceived that way. But embrace that and heal that, right? There's an inconjunct with Jupiter and Venus right now. And that's really good because it's a mutual reception in each other's signs by in conjunct. Jupiter in Venus sign and Venus in Jupiter sign, and they're connecting. So right now it's a pretty powerful time. So I expect actually a generally good year, judging by this. And yeah, moon's in Virgo, so that's familiar to me. Good for thinking, good for being logical and orderly. Capricorn season. All right, so let's move. Let's keep going. I'm gonna go by weeks. All right, let's see here. The next interesting thing. So Mars is gonna move into Capricorn. That's good. And then we're going to get. Just pull the day up here. Really nice conjunction. We're getting two conjunctions. One at the anaretic degree of Capricorn with Sun and Pluto, and then on January 20th, well, 21st, we get the conjunction in Aquarius, 0 degrees Aquarius. Well, Sun is at 1 degree. So that's later this month, January 21st, and that should be quite good as well. I really like that because that's also where the Saturn Jupiter conjunction was, the great conjunction, 0 degrees Aquarius. I love Pluto in Aquarius much more than Pluto in Capricorn. I think it's much more dynamic and uplifting, and like I've said before, power to the people, right? So I think that's going to be a powerful time, and with the Sun conjunct right as it's going in, it's kind of like it's adding more power to that because the Sun is the king, and so like the Sun is like walking into Aquarius with Pluto, right? And so it's making it even more dramatic, more powerful, right? Dramatic entrance. So that's good. And let's see. Yeah, let's just keep going. Uh, we're gonna get Mars in Capricorn. Mars is in Capricorn, yeah. Wait a minute. We're gonna get oh, I'm sorry. And we're gonna get Mercury and Mars conjunct in Capricorn, and that's gonna be square the nodes. That's January 28th, right after that conjunction. And that's interesting too, because that would seem quite intense, but Mars is in good dignity, and Mars also is in domicile in Aries, so that's dignifying the North Node. So that's going to signify progress because the North Node is dignified, the South Node's not, right? So the past is going to, at least briefly for this time for this transit around January 28th, the past is not so good, but the future will be, there will be some progress made, especially with Mars and Aries. So it could be military, it could be government, it could be structural, you know, who knows? Who knows? But there could be something good to come out of this. It's a pretty quick transit, but Mars, Mercury, even Venus is supportive of it just by being in the same sign where Mars is in good dignity. But it is significant because it's square the nodes. Mars being in good dignity and dignifying the North Node as well. So in Aries. So something good in related to Mars and Aries and government. Capricorn, Aries, Mars, North Node moving. All right, progress. North Node is sort of like progress, forward motion. So I expect some forward motion in January, at the end of January or February. Okay. And then we're going to get Mars, Pluto. Let me get the exact day there. Yeah, so that'll be at 0 degrees on February 13th. And that'll be intense because Mars conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. It's going to be very aggressive. 0 degrees Aquarius. Yeah, some kind of, I mean, ideology, very aggressive ideology. Yeah, again, Mars is not like super slow, so it's not going to be like anything very deep or impactful, but it's still going to be something. Something's going to, we're going to have a lot of Aquarian stuff. So it could be technology related, idea related. People might become somewhat fanatical about their ideas. Aquarius is so in its extreme, it's so removed from the body, right? It's so intellectual. It's very kind of robotic in that sense. So there could be some very aggressive ideology being born at around this time. Perhaps humanitarian, transhumanist, dystopian or utopian, but probably with the Mars Pluto, it's a little heavy-handed. It's quite aggressive, dystopian ideology. Anyway, also North Node, Chiron, exact around this time. Yeah, but let's keep going. All right, and then the sun moves into Pisces. We're going to have a conjunction here with Saturn, Sun, Mercury. It's short-lived. There's not much more to say about that. There will be a powerful eclipse coming up. There we go. We get to the exact day. Yeah. Okay. Might as well get it exact. There we go. So April 8th, we're gonna see an eclipse because North Node, Sun, Moon at 19 degrees Aries. So if you have anything at 19 degrees, anywhere, it could be Aries, could be Libra, it could be any sign. I have my moon at 19 degrees Virgo. That's in conjunct to the new moon eclipse. which is a solar eclipse. The moon will be over the sun, and it's very close to the node, so that's going to be powerful. Chiron is right there too, so that should be interesting. But yeah, 19 degrees anywhere, it will affect any personal planet, right? It'll be powerful, and if not, you're not gonna notice that much. I mean, sometimes people don't even notice when they have very powerful eclipses right on extremely uh personal planets or points. They don't notice it. Well, they will notice it. It's just that it doesn't happen right away, right? And if you're not paying attention, it's just gonna pass your mind, right? But I had the full moon eclipse almost on my ascendant descendant by 2 degrees. So that's like a ripening of karma, which is good, and I that's playing out, and I could point to that at another time, but this will be a new moon eclipse, so it's new beginnings, right? So if that's touching any new planets, new beginnings, relating to Aries, so like that's the self, the individual, right? And then Chiron again, Chiron Aries, relating to our really deepest uniqueness, the thing that might stand out. It could be a great asset too, because Chiron can be highly creative because it's so unique and different, right? I mean, it helps you stand out from the crowd. So embrace that with this new moon, especially if you have 19 degrees, anything, right? Personal. And like for my moon, it's going to be impactful, and it'll invoke unbalanced relationships, sort of like the Virgo Scorpio dynamic. Virgo's serving, coming underneath, but also wants to be the underdog fighter, the challenger, right? And then Scorpio's the dominant side of things, who has control and power, but sometimes goes through its death phase or crisis, or shedding its skin, rebirth, that sort of thing, right? So there's that theme, the Scorpio, Virgo, and my moon's in Virgo, so it's actually not too bad for me because it's fairly natural. I'm used to it, right? This kind of dynamic. Yeah. Then we're gonna get the next transit after that is going to be the Jupiter, Uranus, and Taurus. That's going to be pretty powerful. Radical, right? Radical beliefs. So I have Jupiter and Taurus. So I know that Jupiter and Taurus very much believes in nature. It believes in land. It believes in food. It believes in the power of nature. It believes in very grounded, earthy, practical things. Security, money, all that stuff. Uranus is very radical. So it can create very radical belief systems around Taurian things. So like having to do with money, with security, gathering, hoarding, like people, this could lead to some people wanting too much, right? Wanting more than their fair share because of Jupiter and Taurus, it's like so excessive, right? However, Uranus is also very political, so it could bring all these things to the forefront. It could make it we could become, as a society, more aware of hoarding tendencies, people who are having too much. They could be, brought out to the limelight, and people take a more of an active interest in that sort of thing. But in any case, it is radical ideology. And could lead to both the awareness of the desire to take too much and people wanting to take too much, both. All right. In addition, I mean, there's some good things I could say, like Jupiter and Taurus might, with Uranus here, it could bring out a lot of awareness about natural healing, right? And food, the benefits of food, and it could bring out the awareness of food shortages, food scarcity in different places. So there could be a lot of good things that come out of that as well. Mars and Saturn will be conjunct in Pisces. Let's go to the exact day. So that'll be around April 10th, right? Mars and Saturn in Pisces, that's really interesting because Mars and Saturn together is very aggressive. right? I have Mars and Saturn. They're wide enough apart that it's not so bad. It's like 11 degrees apart. But you do see this often in Mars and Saturn in like you know very aggressive people. They could be violent, they could be even criminal minded, or just highly aggressive, hyper aggressive. Because Mars is the aggression, Saturn kind of contains it. Mars is exalted in Saturn's sign of Capricorn, but it's a lot of hardness, right? Saturn's authority, Mars is, like army, soldiers, aggression, war, fighting. Pisces is going to bring this could be like militant terrorism, right? Like woke terrorism, like sort of like Antifa, right? Like going out there and burning buildings, and we're doing this for the people, for to end the bombing, and right, like anti-war terrorism or something like that. Something, where the ideal is like they believe they're doing something very compassionate, very high-minded, very, Piscean, right? For the people, for the good of others. But it could be very aggressive at the same time. So something to be aware of. Um, Otherwise it could lead Mars and Saturn can be just very physical, right? And then in the sort of non-violent way, it could just be like ultra marathon, um, endurance. Saturn's very long, and something like with Pisces, like it could be, I don't know, swimming, um, athletics. It's not, again, Mars is not going to be there for very long, but this could be a time around this time, around April, beginning of April, where people are more athletic, adventurous, and perhaps drawn to Piscean things like water. Okay, let's keep going. Alrighty. We're getting a Taurus stellium going on in May. Obviously, Venus is there, Moon's there. Um, then, so Jupiter is going into Gemini. That happens at the end of May, May 29th. Jupiter goes out of Taurus and into Gemini. And Jupiter in Gemini is not um, super strong because Jupiter, it's opposite, it's domicile in Sagittarius, so it's in detriment. But Jupiter in Gemini is good for Gemini things. Gemini has Jupiter in it. Gemini has a whole goddamn planet in it, like more than one actually. But I mean, the way to think about it is like if a planet's not in good dignity, it still enhances that sign because it's like the sign of Gemini has a major planet in it, and at least one, right? I mean, now it's here we have Sun and Venus, but so for Gemini things, Jupiter and Gemini is great for Gemini things. It's great for communication. It's great for writing. It's great for working with the hands. It's great for all of that stuff, right? So communicating, media, speaking, writing, ideas, all that. It's not so good for religion. It's not so good for philosophy, but the philosophy of writing, it's excellent for. The philosophy of communication, the philosophy of media, right? It can be excellent for them. So, there's always something good about, um, we forgot Mars. Mars was conjunct North Node. Yeah, that's gonna move real quick, right? But May 21st, maybe. Yeah. In Aries. So that's interesting. Um, then the next exciting thing to happen is that, let's see, when does it happen? Um, oh, before then. Okay, Sun opposite Pluto. That's gonna be quick. But actually there'll be a new moon. Or no, that's not till, I'm sorry. It's not till later. I was looking at it before, and that's why I know that. There we go. Um, Here we go. All right. Let's just say that that's a 29. Oh, well, get it exact. So there we are. This has happened. This is interesting. It's only one day, but it's a full moon. And what's interesting about it is that moon is opposite its domicile in Cancer, so it's in detriment. It's in Capricorn at the anaretic degree, and it's conjunct Pluto. So this moon is not a happy moon, right? It is the sun is actually dignified by the moon, but the moon's in trouble itself. That's June 21st. That's the solstice, summer solstice. So that's interesting. It also gets a trine from Mars. Excuse me. And Mars will dignify the moon somewhat because it's exalted in Capricorn, but it's still conjunct Pluto, so that's quite difficult. But it's just a temporary transit. Anyway, so I point that out. Um, so at some point, I don't know when, um, Neptune is going to move into Aries. Oh no, it's retrograding. Oh, it will eventually. I didn't go through all of the major things, so I'm probably skipping over some significant things, but I'm trying to catch the major stuff. So Pluto retrogrades back into Capricorn at the second half. So I'm not sure exactly when. Let's see. Okay, so September. Yeah, beginning of September, it retrogrades back into Capricorn. Mm, Neptune never leaves Pisces in 2024, I guess. Anything else? No. That's pretty much it. Okay, so yeah, when does that happen? Um, Pluto goes back into Aquarius right around November of next year. So, and I think it's fine. That's the final. I don't think it retrogrades again, back into Capricorn. Um, I think that's the final ingress into Aquarius. But it's interesting. It's passing over the Capricorn Aquarius um, border line several times, 3 times, back and forth. But yeah, that's it for the year in review. North Node is still in Aries. Um, yeah, so interesting stuff. That's all I got for now. Um, I don't want to keep this video too long, so I'm just gonna wrap it up here. And yeah, have a excellent New Year and a great New Year's Day and a great year ahead of you to everyone. And I wish for world peace and an end to all the conflict and fighting on all sides. And I wish for prosperity and peace and happiness and justice and joy for everyone. So, all right, guys, that's it for now. Uh, Mediocre astrologer signing off. Man, he's okay. Laugh it off, guys. Take a victory laugh, and I will see you again soon. Hit that like button. Thanks. All right. Bye bye.